Look what you got.
The phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your great grandpa's house.
Yeah.
So neat.
Your great grandmother never lived here though. That's
I
sad.
wonder if there's a way I can turn on enable flash. There we go.
Okay,
Name's
now
gonna
am
mess
I
the whole
ready?
Yes.
Go, sister.
Welcome to the Jacob Hamblin home. And before coming to Salt Lake, Jacob, he lived in the East. And of course, we discussed Lucinda, and he married Lucinda, and then he found the church, or the church found him, the missionaries found him, and he was baptized. Went home and told Lucinda about that, and he was always a very, I like to say that he was very religious before he was religious, before he found the church, because he had just all of these inspirations and these revelations throughout his life. And how do you explain that unless he was very close to God? So he went home, and he didn't force Lucinda to be baptized. He, but he would go outside and do his prayers. I read that in this biography of Lucinda. And finally, she wanted to know why he didn't pray with her, and he told her that he didn't want to, force something on her, and so eventually she was baptized. Now that didn't last long, her baptism, I guess, did, but his parents and her parents, their families they didn't agree with this at all, and her father was rather strong about it. And
Very anti.
very anti, and he wouldn't have anything to do with them. And finally, Jacob, I read someplace where he told him that if he didn't change his ways, that things were going to turn out bad for him. Unfortunately, a few days later, he passed away. Now, I read someplace where he came back to Lucinda in a dream and said, "You better listen to what's going on here." So Dad
Wow.
contacted him.
That's amazing.
I thought it was. Now, a lot of this stuff could be hearsay, because, we're not supposed to tell things, but anyway, so don't put that on YouTube. Erase that part. But anyway, I thought it was an incredible story,
Yeah.
because, again, he had a lot of foresight. Anyway, so fast forward to heading to Nauvoo, and by that time Lucinda had said, "I had enough of this," and so they split up, and like I say, she took the baby, and then it ended up coming back to him. So here he is in Nauvoo, and he's trying to help. Joseph Smith had just been martyred, and he was trying to help the saints get ready to go west. And here he had his 4 kids that he had to kind of farm out, because he was leading people to at least Council Bluffs across and then back and across and then back. So he wasn't home again that much. So he knew he had to find someone. And again, he was inspired to go walking, and he knew he would find who he needed and what he needed. And he walked up to this gal's door and knocked on the door, and she said, "Well, what took you so long? I've been waiting for you."
Wow.
Her name was Rachel Taylor, and she had been married to a gentleman, and he had 3 children from a previous marriage, so they were raising those.
Wow.
And her husband died and left her with his 3 children.
Oh my.
So they got married, Jacob and Rachel got married, and now they have 7.
Yeah, because his 4 plus her
His
3.
4 plus her
Wow.
3. Now we hear, or we read, or something, that eventually the gentleman's extended family took those 3 children. So they came west with the 4.
I see. Okay.
And then probably by then they settled Tooele. I guess I didn't ask you where you're from.
Provo.
Okay, you know where Tooele is.
Oh, yeah.
They
Yeah.
settled in Tooele, and Jacob was part of a militia to not necessarily fight Indians,
Right,
but by
yeah.
then they were stinkers, and they would come down and raid and
Yeah.
cattle and steal things.
You betcha.
Yeah, sure. You want to join us? I haven't.
Is that okay?
It is. I'm a little bit we're where Jacob gets to Tooele.
Okay.
So if you have any questions
Hey,
afterward, I'll
wear a
catch you
mask
up.
if you-
Anyways,
It's her choice, honey.
It's okay.
so they're in Tooele, and he joins the militia to help fight the Indians. Now, going back, Jacob also, after he joined the church, he also received inspiration. He just had an infinity to help the Indians, the Native Americans. And he was told that if he never shed the blood of these Native Americans, that they would never shed his blood.
Wow, what an awesome
so
promise.
there's another promise to him. All through his life, he had these inspirations and forethoughts and how to deal with these Indian people. But
Wow.
anyway, a little short story about that. Some Indians had raided and taken some cattle from the Tooele group. And they, so the militia got their guns and they started tracking the Indians. And they tracked them up the hill, up into the mountains. And they finally came upon them. And the men had guns and the Indians had their bows and arrows. And they started this little war. And what was really funny about that whole thing is that the arrows that the Indians were shooting never hit one soul.
Wow.
Never
Wow.
hit one soul. Jacob got several arrows through his clothes and one in his hat. And
Oh my
bouncing
gosh.
off of his
Almost like
rifle.
Porter Rockwell.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
incredible.
But the interesting thing was the gentleman that had the guns, their guns either misfired or they missed the Indians totally.
That's
Not one
incredible.
Indian was killed. They didn't.
That's just so funny.
got
They're all
this
shooting
war
at each
going
other
on.
and there's all these things just passing
Nothing
by
happened.
everybody. That is
Right.
so crazy.
Are we here? That's so cool.
A tour?
Yes.
This is a tour.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna take a tour, but I have
She's
to
telling
talk
us the
to you a
history
little bit
first.
here
Yeah, the backstory to know who he was and where he came from.
Okay.
It's really cool.
But the fun part about it is I guess the Indians started throwing rocks. Finally, they all ran away. Nothing was happening. And
That
the
is so
guys
funny.
got- They got their cattle back. And then Brigham Young called Jacob and about 19 other gentlemen to come down here to Santa Clara and establish this Indian mission. And Jacob was the mission leader at that point. And so at that time, Rachel, his new wife, had one child, so now they have
Five with them,
oh, 5 with them, yes.
but 8 altogether.
Yeah.
So anyway, so here they come to St. George and they start settling this, and it's quite a barren land. And so down around the corner of this 91, where the road turns, there's a monument down there with some flags on the left side of the road. And that is where they built Fort Clara. This is what the fort looked like.
Wow.
That is so cool. Wow.
Homes here. The middle part was for stock.
Wow.
how
It's
that
like a
goes?
little castle setup.
See, they lived
Yeah.
in these little homes here.
That's
And then they-
so cool.
Yeah, they kept their cows and their horses and everything in here. And then that would protect them from the Indians.
Oh, that's
See,
so
they could crawl up on here and look
For
out.
protection, huh?
For protection,
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it is. Anyway,
Yeah, the winter can
fast forward a little bit to 1861. In December of 1861, it started to rain down here.
Whoa.
Now, this was concurrent to Brigham Young had called 300 families to the cotton mission down here. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yeah, I think
But they
so.
got here in December of 1861 too, only they were settling in St. George.
Right, yeah.
But they had a tough time too, but There is a little river right across the street. You see the rocks on the shore.
Yeah.
That's called the Santa Clara River, and it flooded out
Really?
the fort. Jacob had a grist mill built. They had all kinds of crops built. It wiped out absolutely everything. Now,
Wow.
to just show you what this river can do,
Was that the flood?
this
Yeah.
was back in
Excuse me?
2003,
Oh, that's when I was born.
okay?
Yeah.
And you saw the sign that says Jacob Hamblin down there.
Yeah. Oh my
Wow.
word, look
The
at
river
that.
flooded up to that
That's
point.
crazy.
So when
That's
it
a
rains
lot.
hard, which
It can
has
flood.
done occasionally, yes, it floods. Did you see the picture? If you just look down there at
Oh,
the
yeah.
sign, yeah. So
That's
anyway,
neat.
it wiped out everything. Now, before that, when they were still living in the fort, Jacob's first wife, Rachel, was having a little bit of a hard time with all of these children that they had.
It's a lot of work.
Jacob had been traveling extensively at this point because he was all over. He was up to Kanab, he was into New Mexico, he was in Arizona. He
Wow.
even traveled north a little bit, working with the Indians. Now, when Brigham called him, oh, hello! How are you guys? When Brigham called him to this position, his main goal was to settle the Indians down, make friends with them, teach them how to farm, teach them the English language, and to teach them the gospel.
Wow, that's so neat.
So they were working on that, but so
Are we going to do?
we're gonna go upstairs in
Yes,
just a
we're
few
gonna go
minutes. I
somewhere.
just have one little more thing I need to tell you here, okay? And then we'll start. At the time of the flood, Rachel was pregnant with the baby, and she had a baby a couple of days before that, and then she fell ill, and then the flood, so she had all this cold water, and they were dealing with it, and they got her out of the way, but she did pass away, and so did the baby.
Oh, sad.
But in between that time, they had made friends with one of the missionaries that was down here, and he had a daughter, Priscilla.
Ooh.
And Rachel and Priscilla were very good friends, and she delivered babies and things for them. And so Rachel asked Jacob if he would marry Priscilla and help her.
Wow, before she passed away.
Now,
Wow.
they were in Salt Lake getting married at the time the Mountain Meadow Massacre came.
Yeah.
So they came back, and then after that, I guess the flood happened. Anyway, so they were married, and Priscilla and Rachel, basically, they had to rebuild a home. So they built this home. The Swiss immigrants were very common here. This is where a lot of the Swiss immigrants. And they helped build the house because Jacob wasn't home to help do any of that.
Yeah.
So they built the house, and Priscilla and Rachel then started to, so basically this whole house is designed by them.
That's
So
neat.
cool.
So it's like after Swiss style, I guess, huh?
I guess it kind of looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay, now we'll start a tour. How does that sound?
Sound fun, Liam?
Here, Liam, take your rabbit.
Take your little bunny with you.
Sometimes.
This is
So.
Probably, yeah.
That's just a furnace room. That's just a storage room for our stuff.
Isn't this neat? The rock floor.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
so
this
neat.
part of the home was actually built on after.
So
the
that was
regular
added
home.
on. So this is the original part?
No, that's the original
This is the
part.
original.
That whole part was the original, then this is
Yeah.
added on.
But they use this as a storage area. I want to bring your attention to the saddle behind you in a second. This was Jacob's saddle.
I remember that being up there.
He spent 30 years and about 30,000 miles riding in that saddle, going anywhere from here to Canal, to New Mexico, to Arizona.
Wow.
And he was able to befriend the Hopi, the Apache, the Navajo, the Utah, which I think they call them Utes now.
Yeah, the Utes.
Apache, the Hopi, Ute.
Oh, is that his Book of Mormon?
Yes. Well, I don't know whether it's his or not, but this is where he carried it.
Wow.
That's cool.
Can you imagine spending 30 years and 30,000 miles on the back of a horse?
Is that his horse's skull down there?
No.
No, that's
actually
That's a steer.
that's a steer, or that's kind of a cow. Okay?
Ah.
Yeah. Now the room behind you is simply a storage room. Also, during the time they lived here, this highway out here is called Highway 91, and it was the principal route to California for many years, up until about 1970, when they made the gorge. This is the only way you could get to California.
Was this highway?
Wow.
Get a picture of the saddle and stuff.
So this is a storage room, and they had a lot of travelers.
Is that their mailbox up there?
I don't know.
Are these like their actual stuff? Like, are these the tools he used?
At least from that era.
These are from the era.
Yeah.
See that candle maker back there?
Yeah.
I have one just like that. I have another home in Wyoming.
Is that what these are from?
Those are, yeah, you pour them in, and anyway, so this might have been a storage room for supplies, grain.
Liam, where
If
you
people
going?
wanted to
Stay
trade
here.
or rather food, then they would, go ahead and look in there if you want, and then we'll come back down here.
This thing.
You know, I don't know.
That
Maybe
looks
a
like a whip or something.
maybe a fan. Yeah, to fan themselves. 'Cause it'd be hot. Might be to fan fire to. I don't know.
This is cool. You see that big freaking saw? Alright, see in there?
Hold on, I gotta get some tea.
Why? Why can't you just enjoy the experience?
I am.
Hosting the house with me.
I am enjoying it. Just first to look at later too. This is really cool. It's how they ground wheat. There's the yokes that their oxen would wear.
RHPH.
So neat.
Oh, that's Rebecca, and that's P. What's her name again? What's her name? P.
I don't know. Priscilla.
Priscilla.
Yep.
Made by the daughter of Louisa and Jacob. Their youngest, Amarula.
Mommy, definitely. This is the youngest.
Now, the picture here, the younger lady,
Yeah.
is Priscilla.
Mmm.
She was the third wife,
Wow.
and Louisa was the fourth wife.
That's super cool.
Anyway, you might want to know why the children, about children sleeping.
Drops
And
for my
These
eyes.
bedrooms for
Okay, we'll get 'em in a
Louisa
minute.
and Rachel. Now, when Rachel passed away, then Louisa took over.
Stop
Sadie,
it.
Sadie,
Stop it.
don't touch.
But we're going out to a living area now, and these doors could be closed off so that Priscilla and Rachel and Louisa could have some privacy.
That's nice.
All right, now we're gonna go upstairs.
It's actually a pretty decent sized house for back then, right?
It's true.
Careful.
Yeah.
Stay to the far. Stay behind the.
Behind the chains, the marks,
Who's
yeah.
loving those?
Oh, yeah.
Steve. Wow.
remember, wait, it's the next room that has the beds in it, right? The next room has the beds in it?
The next room has beds, but they aren't where they slept.
Oh,
When the church finally took back this home, bought it changed hands a lot after they left.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Jacob moved his family. After Rachel passed away, he moved Priscilla and Louisa to Kanab and built them separate homes. In Kanab, he had easier access to the Indians and to his work. So this is where the family lived. This is where they did their cooking, their time spent. I guess they probably had their schooling here. Priscilla was good at weaving and cloth making, so she would use the looms and the spin and make clothes, and she was also a midwife to deliver babies. And then Rachel, she did a lot of working in the gardens and the orchards and taking care of the livestock and cooking.
wow.
So, and they also grew some cotton here.
Yep, real cotton right there.
You ever found a real piece of cotton straight from the ground? And see, there's the cotton seed. Do I feel a piece of cotton? And you can feel in here the bumpy part. That's the seed that grows to make the plant. And they make clothes out of this. And I'm not going to explain it to you.
How it works, yeah.
Somehow you have to spin it, and then you spin the yarn and weave the yarn.
Lots of work.
The children had bedrolls or beds that they would bring in here at night, sleep.
Kind of like sleeping bags.
Yeah, sort of, I guess. And then back here, again, this is part of the built-in place. And when the church took this over, they put beds in here for some reason, but they didn't sleep in here. This was a storage room. So,
Maybe they just did it
what about
for,
here? You can go out. We're going to talk about
This is
outside
cool.
there.
I was
yeah,
in
this
here.
looks like,
This is.
Can you imagine down here at 120 degrees in the summertime?
This room would be an oven.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah, it'd be miserable.
yeah, it would
Oh,
be.
well, look at that. 2 beds in here.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 3 altogether.
Yeah.
Good size, too.
I don't know why they decided to decorate it as a bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay, that was found up on the rock hills. That was found up on the rock hills quite some time ago by a lady hiker.
Wow.
She sat down to rest and have a drink, and
Saw this.
now we don't really know who did that, whether it was Jacob.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was.
Yeah.
June 15th,
18.
1865. But the thing that's
Look, it's
interesting
got,
is this. I think it might have been
That's neat.
like a trail. Like
Yeah.
maybe that's some of the trail that he rode, and
Yeah.
who knows?
'cause it's like-
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You know what? Maybe it was. Maybe it was a marker for him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one quick thing left. Jacob was such a good man, and he loved the Native Americans, and they loved him back, and he did such a special job. And it wasn't that he wanted to do it either, because he missed his family. It was, he gave 30 some odd years of his life traveling away from his family. And he missed remember I told you Rachel died? And
Yeah.
his baby?
Yeah.
He was traveling when she passed away.
Oh, so he
lost
missed
his
her.
oldest son, Dwayne, to an accident. He had an adopted Indian boy,
That's right.
and he died in Pine Valley. right after the massacre, and they don't really know why he died, but I don't know whether it was because of the massacre or after that.
Yeah, I heard it was an accident from
Yeah.
somebody mistook him for.
An Indian,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, he was, but he didn't need to get killed.
No, it's
Oh,
pretty
one
sad.
fun thing about Rachel, if you've ever read much about Rachel in Pine Valley, she was up there as well when the Mountain Meadow Massacre came on. And she took in wounded children from that
Wow.
massacre and nursed them back to health.
Wow.
So she was a wonderful woman.
That's
And
amazing.
like I say, the Indians revered Jacob. I have one thing that was written by one of the Native American men. His name was Michael Eager, but it's really touched me. It says, I speak of this man who taught us who we were, even descendants of Lehi, who came across the great waters. My voice echoes of a humble, soft-spoken, spiritual giant who came to us in peace and honesty. No Indian or white man could kill this man, our friend Jacoba. His magic was stronger than any. We know this was because of his faith and love for us.
Wow, that's so
It
good.
is. Makes me want to cry.
Yeah, that is so good.
So anyway, this ends our tour. You're welcome to tour the grounds.
Okay.
I don't know how many of those fruit trees are originals. Probably not many, but they've kept them growing. And if you want to, you can drive out here and to the right, go down around the corner, and over to your left as you're turning the corner. It's kind of an indentation. There is a monument and some flags, and that's where Fort Clara was.
Run over there.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
I didn't see the other front room down there. Is there another room
No,
to
there
the-
wasn't.
in the downstairs? I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah.
No, there's
The second
you
room.
mean the
Off the main room. The one we didn't walk through.
Rachel's bedroom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might want to go
You
look
can
at that.
sit right on the inside.
That'll be neat to see.
Do they have any, like, secret places where they put stuff?
You know, I don't know that.
That's why they're secret.
I'm sure they did a selfie.
Yeah, to
And they're
protect
still
it.
secret because
I bet
nobody
the
knows
kids
where
did
they're
it.
at.
I would have buried something
4,
somewhere.
5, 6, 7. Okay, I just have to keep track of how many.
Make sure everybody's back out that was in.
Yeah, go ahead and come on in.
What does this store lead to? Just utilities right now?
I saw where it went to.
That's kind of the furnace room now. That's where we keep our vacuum and different things, and where we turn on all
Was
the
it just an
lights.
extra storage room for them?
I guess. Yeah.
I looked through the door that we were trying I'm gonna wash the car.
Come on in.
That warm floor.
My coat, so she.
Wow, feels good in here. Oh, it's nice.
That's why we stay in here.
Yeah.
This furniture is not 19th century.
No.
This is just our.
That right there, huh?
This is not 19th century.
Well, they had great taste if it was. They were amazing.
Oh, her husband.
Yeah, he's a direct descendant of Jacob.
Lucinda.
Yeah, through Lucinda's line, yeah.
Well, we don't hear too many about this.
There was a-
Yeah.
I just took a tour through Tremont. He was a direct descendant of
Okay.
Jacob Hamilton.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
was interested in Lucinda. So I Googled Lucinda and Jacob,
Oh, so it's
and
like
I ended up with a really fun story from one of Lucinda's and Jacob's ancestors. Have you ever heard of
I
Uncle
love this
Billy?
room.
Billy
Right,
Crosby.
Was he from, which wife was he
Yes.
from?
Lucinda.
Lucinda?
William
The
Crosby
first one then.
Yep.
is Jacob
Yeah, that
Hamlin's
side of the family
grandson.
ended up getting
And Jacob
reconverted.
used to take him with
A lot of them did, so.
Well,
on
she
some
had,
of his.
they had 4 children.
Yeah.
outings, his tours
And
and
then I think
things.
Louisa
And
had,
he actually
I wanna
is
say
one that
11.
I think developed. a
Wow.
family
Priscilla, I'm not
business.
sure how many on Priscilla's. She lost
there's
two
history about
childbirths
him.
right
Yeah, a
after
lot of
childbirth.
But it's
people
from
lose
his
their
A lot of
babies.
them are
Her
from
last name is Schramm.
Lucinda, or
And
Louisa.
she's,
Yeah.
she's
Last
from,
The majority of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
did I say Melinda, didn't I?
I think
It
so.
was- It was anyway, it was their oldest daughter, Lucinda and Jacob's oldest daughter, I think. I could be wrong.
But that Rose's story?
No, that was the descendant
Oh.
Yeah,
of the ones that came here,
yeah.
So, it's interesting, I just
So the
wanted to
oldest
find
of the
out
oldest.
more
I
information
don't
on
know
what
that
they
much
did.
about Lucinda, cause she kinda.
Well, that's
I
what
don't
I
even know if she was
wanted,
baptized.
that's what,
Yeah.
yeah, she was.
She was baptized.
She was baptized after Jacob did, but she,
It doesn't
the
say
little
she,
story
doesn't say
about,
she fell away from the church, they just.
She
When
left
his daughter
him,
died,
They
his
but-
daughter
just
was
separated
left
in
him.
1949.
she left him, and
Yeah.
actually, she took 3. No, she took the baby,
But he went
and
back
he
and got her.
went back and got the baby finally. And then, so he went into Nauvoo with 4, and that's when he
I know
married.
Do we know the oldest child's name, Lucinda's?
I
What was
thought
her
it
name?
was that Melinda, but maybe
I
Melinda.
don't know.
Could have been.
I don't know. I'll have to
Yeah.
go back and read that. All I did was Google Jacob Hamlin and Lucinda,
Okay,
because I wanted to find out more about Lucinda. I like to find out about people.
yeah, me too. It's very
That they
neat.
read She ran off with a soldier or something?
I wouldn't know about that.
Someone told me that.
She
I'm
didn't,
like, I
she
haven't heard
died
that.
not
Yeah,
very
I don't
long
know.
after she left Jacob, though.
Yeah.
Let's see if it says anything in here.
But it was just
About
interesting
Lucinda,
to
or-
me. Because, I've always heard, well, that's all we were given, the information is that she left him
Yeah.
with the children.
I'm sure if I looked, I could probably find more information, being that it's
He
family.
married
You can
Lucinda
Google it.
Taylor in 1839.
And the
She
lady
was
is-
baptized
her last
in
name is Schramm.
1842.
Schramm.
And I can't read that writing up the side.
Is that your writing or is that?
No, it's somebody
No,
else's
that was
writing.
here. But see,
I
they
can't
don't
read
give
it
us
either.
I
any
can't, it's too light. It's
information on-
in
Right. It's been
1839,
worn.
Mary
To
something or
know.
other.
In fact, I
Yeah.
just
So
read
let's
about
see.
Louisa.
Now, most of his children
I was
From
sitting here
her
for the first hour and
was
I
in
read all
southern
about,
Utah, but they didn't live in this
where she
particular
came from
home.
when she was
From the
baptized.
diaries in here?
Yeah,
I've read
there's
some
one
of
that's
her.
specifically about Lucinda.
Okay, Dwayne.
Lucinda or Louisa?
Dwayne was the oldest
Or
boy and he
Louisa, I'm
died.
Sorry.
Martha Adeline Hamilton Crosby is one.
Martha, not Melinda?
It's Martha.
Mm,
And then there's a Mariette Magdalene Hamilton. She was one. And Lyman Stoddard was another son born. That's the 4 children from
Lucinda?
Lucinda.
Dwayne, Martha,
Lyman's daughter.
So it
Mariette,
must have been
Lyman.
I knew it was an M word.
Well, there's 2 Marians. There's Martha Adeline. She married to Crosby, and then Marguerite Magdalene. See, she lived to be
Well, where is the 4th
1910.
child?
The 4th
Lyman.
child's Lyman Stoddard,
So,
and that's the guy.
oh, Dwayne was the first one.
Dwayne was the
And he's
first
the
one,
one
and he
that
died.
So it was one of these daughters then.
I would probably say this one, because she lived to be until
Did she say
1910.
Crosby? She married a Crosby.
Yeah, that's the Crosby right
Okay,
there.
that's the one.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look up that, yeah, because my husband was lucky enough to know his great
No, that's the first
great
one.
grandma.
That's the
That's
first
the
one.
first one. I thought it was
Well, the first
one.
daughter,
Yeah.
the second child.
First daughter.
Okay,
Okay, and she married a Crosby, and that's where Uncle Billy was. Uncle Billy was
Uncle Billy's-
her
See,
son,
this is
Okay.
Martha
and
Hamilton.
it
Well,
was
they got that.
Jacob's
Just Martha.
grandson.
that's neat.
So, that was kind
Wow.
of fun to read about her.
Looks a lot like her dad.
It does, doesn't it? Kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah,
I never
does.
thought that kind of.
Yeah, she looks a lot
that
like her
straight
dad.
lip
Yeah,
thing
and then
going
the
on.
eyebrows, the
Uh-huh,
serious
she
look in the
does,
eyes. Yeah,
And then see,
Pretty neat.
Rachel had 1, 2,
Did she have 5 by
3.
Jacob? Rachel?
She had one
4,
die.
Oh,
The
Rachel
last
did?
one died
5.
with her. She had delivered it
Yeah,
just
she had
before
5.
the flood.
Rachel had 5.
That's another thing I I started reading about it.
But she didn't die during the fort. No one died during the fort.
No, she died about 2.5 years after the fort
She
was
died
destroyed.
after, and the baby died too.
I know that.
She was sick for that whole time. And
Priscilla nursed her.
Okay, Rachel, they named one of the daughters Rachel. She was born in Pine Valley, and she was younger children living in the Jacob home, and she died in 1877, so she didn't die at that particular time.
Well, I just read a little bit about it, you know.
Okay, Arminda Hamilton was born in 1861, died in 1862, so she actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They had 5 children, and the last one was Arminda, and she died in 1862.
So that would have been the one that died with Rachel.
Her exact death date
well,
is
Rachel died in
unknown, and she
65.
never lived in the Hamlin home, they said.
She didn't, all right. Well,
That's
anyway,
interesting, because the home was built, well, the
when
home
I
was built in
read this
1862.
morning, it
Yeah.
just said that Rachel and her last child, she was sick. And the
I've
child
got
was
some
sick.
Crosbys that live in
Since
Star Valley. I
61.
gotta wait to go back and talk to him.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have
They were a
to.
lot better out
I'm gonna have to, because I love doing the family history. I'm gonna have to look up some stuff and figure
do.
out who's who and.
I get really confused on that, but I know
That's the fun part.
he was in my class,
You
and
know, as I read
Trying to
it,
remember all
and
those
his dad
people.
was kind of like my great-grandfather,
Well, it's kinda fun, 'cause I
homesteaded
was
in
able
the
to
valley
get
and Star
a
Valley.
little
I know
bit
you
of
probably know where it is, but
Especially talking to these people.
Not positive.
it's around that, it's about 60, 70 miles south of Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Right along the-
Yeah, then I know
right
where it
along
is.
the Idaho
Yeah.
border.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Where we had our
I want you to
anniversary,
know
or what?
more about Lucinda, because there are
honeymoon.
people like
Oh,
these
Right in
guys
that area,
that
yeah.
are connected with Lucinda.
Osage Lake's in there.
They
Mhm.
want to know something too.
And they all
you
said
know.
freedom, actually freedom was
I
right.
made it nice.
Half the freedom was in Idaho and half's in Wyoming, and anytime the authorities
Well, it's
come
good to
after
see
me,
you
they
guys. Good to
Yeah,
see
just
you again.
hop the fence,
Yeah,
hop the line.
fence, cross the line.
It's so funny.
oh, you can't arrest me because half my house is in Idaho and half my house in Wyoming, and
Yeah.
I'm in Idaho right now.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they ever built a house that way, but
We usually
That
come
yeah,
back in
that I don't know.
October,
Some
but
are
we're
like
coming
that.
back
It's pretty
for
funny.
the
We lived
Iron
at Fort Campbell, Kentucky,
It's the World
and we were
Iron
right on the
Man.
line of
You guys
Kentucky
are
and
very
Tennessee.
lucky if
Yeah.
you
So
did.
half our stuff was considered Tennessee and half our stuff was considered
Well, yeah, you
Kentucky.
can have property in both.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of those
Get on
freedom
your
have.
horse or ride a bike.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
it's just so
Her
funny.
dad and mother owned a little store
We just
there.
avoided
I mean, this
for
We
happened-
avoided
freedom.
like the plague.
This
And when they had the lottery in Idaho, you could go there and buy lottery tickets.
Just right over
I
the
never
line,
did.
right there. That's
Yeah, it
so
was right on
funny.
the line. We always laugh about that.
Yeah, that's funny. They could just hop the line.
Yeah.
The tabernacle, 'cause we had.
All
Well,
right.
I always used to tease her. I said, how come your dad and mother don't sell
And you can
tobacco
park, right?
alcohol in that little store?
And so we
Because
got
Idaho
them
had different laws than Wyoming did. And she
Yeah.
laughed and she said, oh, Dad don't believe in drinking. He doesn't
Turn
believe in
around and
smoking.
drop
And
Didn't
the
support
salt
selling
and
them.
He just
the
ain't
rest of the way out.
couldn't stock it
Because
in the
that
store.
was the start
Yep.
and the finish
And
is
I
right
said,
there.
good for
on
him.
there.
You know, it was kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
yep. Yeah, our family ended up doing the same thing. They owned a dairy and they owned
Where that
stores
big-
and stuff, and they were just like,
Circular.
now we're after they joined the church, we're like, no more of that.
They usually put the
So-
start and finish line somewhere between the driveway to the tabernacle and that children's
Museum.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just right there and,
Oh, we're talking about the Iron Man?
yeah.
Yeah.
I just told them we're
Well,
coming
see,
back
they
for the
block
Iron
18,
Man.
so we never come down
Yeah.
for the
We just-
Iron Man
we
and the
just-
Oh,
marathon.
they closed 18?
They,
Oh,
well, you
yeah,
have to
that's
go
why
down
Yeah,
with
they have
a,
to, cause they're coming
yeah,
down.
they have a vehicle,
pilot car.
follow vehicle that you can.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you
But it's a pain. In fact, last time we did it, saw people because they're so busy
Oh,
watching.
yeah, they
bicycle,
crash
Rear
into
ended
each
the
other.
person in
We
front of them.
were,
Yeah.
we were, working at the aid station,
just right as
just below Snow Canyon. So they were going up, and then they would turn and go down 18. They did, they had one at the top of Snow Canyon. And then they would turn and go down 18.
You were trying to figure out, because if you run it, and then they go bike, where's the transition? You never see
They
They
swim.
stand
Right.
and then they bike.
Well, where was the transition here?
I think the transition was down here in St. George, right? There's a block, there's just west of the tabernacle. The whole block
There
had
was
bike
lots
racks
of
in
them,
it.
but they would have had to have had their bikes up. at
Well, they had to have them find, and all
So
that.
they rode, but the transition, they would have come into here and then parked their bikes and then started their ride
And started to.
from somewhere around here.
That's it.
It was over by the
Well, I'm gonna head out. Thank you so much
All right,
for
you're welcome.
time the tour.
It was fun meeting you.
Yeah, it was. It was nice. Thank you. It was a good tour.
Yeah, the guy before me, he was directly sending them to Jacob Hamilton too.
See, that's really cool.
Yeah. Should've got you two
Relatives.
together.
I know, they're cousins or
He was
something.
telling me a lot of history, and I'm going, okay.
Well, like, yeah, because they're like telling you about it. I know. Yeah, our line, my husband's line of the family, a lot of them were not active, and so they just don't, they didn't even know they're related because, I don't know.
Well, if you don't have relatives tell you,
Yeah.
see, like I said, my great-grandfather had 3 wives. I didn't know until I was in my 20s because my dad never spoke about it.
Yeah, yep. I'm related, I'm a direct son of Abraham Hunsaker, and he had 5, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's, a lot of it's just not spoken of. They just,
Well, yeah, and then you get 2 or 3 down, it's even harder to get in there.
yep.
Yeah. All right.
All right, well, thank you. Oops. It's so beautiful here. They've made it so green when it was just a desert last time I was here, like super dry, all dirt, rocks and sand. Now it's all green and growing and beautiful. So, let's see. Thank you for joining us.